Hi guys, today's case is going to be on the unsolved disappearance of Lauren Spierer. This case has gone unsolved for 11 years, and I'm covering this case today because of its possible connection to another missing persons case I covered last week, the Lauren Spierer case. Please keep in mind, although I do research every case, my resources are limited to public knowledge. I am a storyteller, not a private investigator. Links to all of my sources and extended articles will be in the description below. Please read the disclaimer, and let's get into today's case. Lauren Spierer was born January 17, 1991, to parents Charlene and Robert Spierer. She grew up in Scarsdale, New York, where she attended Edgemont High School. She has one sibling, a sister named Rebecca. Lauren was a very vibrant and compassionate young woman. Unfortunately, she did suffer from a heart condition. LQTS, or long QTS syndrome, is a condition in which repolarization of the heart after a heartbeat is affected. It results in an increased risk of an irregular heartbeat, which can result in fainting, drowning, seizures, or sudden death. These episodes can be triggered by exercise or stress. Lauren graduated high school in 2009. Lauren had attended a summer camp years earlier called Camp Towanda. The camp was in the town of Holmesdale, Pennsylvania. At the camp, she met her boyfriend of 2 years, Jesse Wolf, and her friend Jay Rosenbaum, and other friends in her circle who were all planning to attend Indiana University, or IU as is commonly known. So it's not surprising that after she graduated high school, Lauren enrolled at IU, where she would go on to study fashion and textile merchandising. Shortly after, she moved to Bloomington, Indiana, into the Avenue on College apartment building, formerly known as Smallwood Plaza Apartments in downtown Bloomington. She was an active member of the Jewish community at IU. One year, she spent her spring break in Israel planting trees on behalf of the Jewish National Fund. Like most young people her age, while in college, Lauren did fall into the party scene a little bit, and she began to experiment with drugs and alcohol. This ultimately led to her being arrested for public intoxication. Friends reported that Lauren would oftentimes drink heavily, pop pills, and snort cocaine. On Friday, June 3rd, after watching the 2011 NBA playoffs and having a few glasses of wine with friends, Lauren left her apartment to go meet up with her friend David Ron. The two headed to Jay Rosenbaum's apartment around 12:30 a.m., where they also met up with Corey Rossman, who was Jay's neighbor, and Michael Beth, who was Corey's roommate. Lauren spent the next 4 hours party hopping with different combinations of this same set of 4 friends: David Ron, Jay Rosenbaum, Corey Rossman, and Michael Beth. According to her boyfriend, Jesse Wolf, he stayed in that night, but he and Lauren would text back and forth throughout the night until he eventually fell asleep. At 1:46 a.m., Lauren was captured by security surveillance entering Kilroy's Sports Bar. At some point in the bar, she removed her shoes while stepping onto the bar's sand-covered patio. At 2:27 a.m., Lauren is caught on camera again, leaving the sports bar with Corey Rossman. She left her shoes and cell phone at the bar. Corey walked with Lauren back to her apartment complex. At this point, she is barefoot. Everywhere she was going was within a 5-minute walking distance of her apartment. Since it wasn't that long of a walk, perhaps she didn't feel she needed her shoes. 3 minutes later, at 2:30 a.m., Lauren was captured by building surveillance entering Smallwood Plaza Apartments where she lived. A guy named Zach Oakes was passing by and noticed how intoxicated Lauren was, and stopped to ask her if she was okay. Keep in mind, she was walking with Corey, and this guy obviously felt, despite Corey being there, that Lauren needed his help. Lauren was a petite girl. She was 4'11" and weighed only 95 pounds. So substances like drugs and alcohol would definitely have a stronger effect on her than someone that had a little more height and weight on them. When they reached the 5th floor of the building where her apartment was located, they ran into a group of 4 guys in the hallway. Allegedly, Corey Rossman made a smart comment to one of the guys. There was an altercation and the guy punched Corey in the face. According to Corey, he doesn't remember what happened after that, and he can't recall the moments leading up to being hit. claiming that he has temporary memory loss due to the injuries sustained to his head. After this, Lauren helped Corey back to his apartment. At 2:48 a.m., security surveillance at a nearby apartment building captures Lauren leaving her apartment building and entering an alleyway that runs between College Avenue and Morton Street. She then exits the alley at 2:51 a.m. and begins walking towards an empty lot, dropping her keys and purse in the alleyway along the way. Security surveillance in the alleyway shows a heavily intoxicated Lauren Spierer stumbling about. Shortly after, Corey tosses her over his shoulder in fireman's carry. Not too long after that, Lauren and Corey arrive at Corey's apartment. Michael Beth, his roommate, was already at the apartment. Corey was also highly intoxicated and stumbling around. He was so intoxicated he had actually vomited on the carpet on the way upstairs. Michael Beth claims he put Corey to bed and tried to convince Lauren to stay over and sleep it off for her safety, but she was adamant that she wanted to return to her apartment. Allegedly, before leaving, she invited him to come and continue drinking with her at her apartment, but he declined, and instead he called Jay Rosenbaum, his neighbor, around 3:30 a.m. and informed him of Lauren's intoxicated state and that she was planning to stop by his place on her way home, and asked him to take care of her. According to Michael, she then left his apartment and headed towards Rosenbaum's apartment at 5 North Townhomes. Jay Rosenbaum told police that when she showed up, she had a large bruise underneath her eye that she had allegedly sustained in a fall earlier that evening. When he asked Lauren how she got the bruise, she told him she couldn't remember. While at Jay Rosenbaum's residence, Lauren allegedly placed 2 calls from his phone before heading home, one to Ron and another to a friend. But neither of them answered her call and she didn't leave a voice message. According to Jay, Lauren left his apartment at 4:30 a.m. She was last seen at the intersection of 11th Street and College Avenue, walking south on College Avenue. She was wearing black leggings and a white t-shirt. She was heavily intoxicated and barefoot. She had intended on walking 2.5 blocks back to her apartment when she mysteriously disappeared. Several hours would go by before her boyfriend, Jesse Wolf, would text her phone. He got a response text back, but it wasn't from Lauren. It was from an employee at the bar where Lauren had gone. Concerned, Jesse contacted the police and reported her missing. According to Wikipedia, in August 2011, authorities conducted a 9-day search of the Sycamore Ridge landfill in Pimento for clues in the disappearance. The landfill is where trash from Bloomington is hauled after a stop at a transfer station. The Bloomington Police Department, the Indiana University Police Department, and the FBI took part in the search. As of May 24, 2013, investigators have received 3,060 tips on Lauren's case. In April 2015, the Bloomington police announced that they were investigating a possible link between Lauren Spierer's disappearance and another IU student, Hannah Wilson. Wilson went missing on April 24, 2015, after visiting Kilroy's, the same sports bar that Lauren Spierer visited the night she disappeared. Hannah Wilson was last seen getting into a taxi in front of the bar and driving away. Her body was later found the next morning in Brown County. A local man named Daniel Messel was arrested for the murder of Hannah after his cell phone was discovered near her body. In July of 2015, authorities concluded that the 2 cases were not related and the similarities between the 2 were purely coincidental. Also, I would like to add that upon my research, I didn't find any solid evidence to link this case to Lauren Pree's disappearance. On January 28, 2016, the FBI and other police agencies investigated the property of a man named Justin Wagers, who raised suspicion after allegedly exposing himself to numerous local women. Wagers was residing at the home with his mother and stepfather. Investigators searched the property with cadaver dogs and found some potential evidence in the barn where the cadaver dogs picked up a scent, but it turned up nothing. They also took Wagers' truck from the property for forensic testing. Over the years, a number of theories have surfaced for what may have happened to Lauren Spierer. Some had their suspicions about the 4 young men that was with Lauren that night. Lauren's parents definitely thought that the boys were somehow involved, and they filed a civil lawsuit against them, stating that the boys had supplied Lauren with the drugs after they realized that she was visibly intoxicated. Spierer's parents have stated that they believe their daughter is dead, based on her level of intoxication. They also felt that she may have been drugged while at the bar. Her father, Robert, stated, "We felt somebody could have slipped something into her drink at Kilroy's." All of the men refused to take police-issued polygraphs and retained lawyers soon after Spierer's disappearance. While the parents have not made any specific accusations, they do believe the men know more than what they're saying. The men responded that they have taken privately administered polygraphs, as well as one from the FBI. They stated that they retained lawyers because they do not trust the Bloomington police. We know that Lauren's level of intoxication was very, very high, and she also had that heart condition. Could it be possible that Lauren overdosed? Rosenbaum told investigators that Spierer consumed alcohol, snorted and crushed up clonazepam tablets that evening. Her rare heart condition, long QT syndrome, added to the danger of her drug use. In fear that they might get in trouble, possibly the boys may have hidden her body to cover up her death. However, investigators stated that they do not believe that Lauren's overdose would have been a good enough motive to hide her death. The police have also acknowledged they have not ruled out other possibilities such as abduction by a stranger. Spierer's parents have previously stated that they do not believe her disappearance was a random abduction. However, Lauren was a pretty petite girl. She was 4'11" and she only weighed 95 pounds. If you add her heavily intoxicated state, it could be possible that someone off the street snatched her up. In 2020, the number of missing persons files in the United States decreased when compared to the previous year, with 543,018 cases. This is the lowest number of missing persons files in the U.S. since 1990. The number of missing persons under the age of 21 was much higher than those 21 and over, with 209,375 females under 21 reported missing, and 59,369 females over the age of 21 reported missing. Someone knows what happened to Lauren. Bloomington Police Department and the family is asking anyone who has any information about Lauren Spierer's case to please come forward and contact the Bloomington Police Department at 812-339-4477 or email helpfindlauren@gmail.com. What did you guys think about this case? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you like videos like these, you can check out my last episode. I'll leave it linked on the screen right here. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Please share because it really helps me out. And I'll see you guys next week with another episode.